Hello and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Tonight we are joined by Ellen Mint. Welcome to the room, Ellen. How are you this evening?
I'm pretty good.
You're
It's
pretty
it's
good. You liked
well,
my
it
little
yeah.
you liked my little cheer?
It's great.
We can always get a little exuberant. Let's see. Wait a minute. Here we go. We can always do a little music, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what we
Need some
got.
of those, like, party favors, just woo!
Right? Let's see,
Yep.
what else do I got here? There we go. We got a few things over here. So how are you this evening?
Good, good. It's
Good.
been
All
kind
right.
of, like, windy, rainy, on and off, which is always fun.
Oh, whereabouts are you again?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. All right. Because we just got 80 today and it was glorious. Absolutely. I mean, we had a couple days of 80 and then it just went all the way down. and,
Oh,
then it went cold and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to move.
there was, like,
So,
a week of 90 in April, and that one was like, "No,
oh,
too early. I'm sorry, too early. Can
oh,
we at least get?" Because it went from, like, 40 to 90, and then it went right back
oh,
down again. It was like, too soon. I'm not
oh,
ready for this.
did you get tornado weather after that?
Weirdly, we don't get much tornado weather anymore.
Oh man.
It's moved. We used to, like, when I was a kid, yeah, like, May was tornado season. Like, every time at,
Mm,
like, 5 to 6, there was a good chance you'd have a tornado, but I
oh
haven't had one
man.
in a couple years.
Knock on wood,
Yeah.
generally, and I better find a real piece of wood for this. Generally, we don't get them too close to us, but they have been in the area, so
Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
it's a little
it's
scary.
bad because it's like if you don't have the infrastructure for it, we since we live in the alley, like, we all have basements and everyone's trained how to do it from, like, kid up, but as it moves, it's like,
Mm,
ooh, no one's really prepared for it anymore.
no. Yeah, we have a basement. We've got the little, I guess where our pump is in the main house. But we have other pieces on our property. So like where I'm at, if a tornado comes, we're just done. We're just done.
Mhm.
We're flying out of here, literally. And I'll probably try to do a podcast as I float by someone else's house. So as we drift away from the weather of me floating from my shisha out here, let's talk about adorkable heroes. Explain that to me.
It's basically kind of the opposite of the alpha hole, where it's that sort of sweet but often dorky guy who doesn't necessarily say the right thing, or he isn't all dominant and domineering. He's the more charming, awkward one on the side.
Okay. Where do you find this draw for that type of character?
Um, I mean, I've always kind of preferred that type of guy, and in some ways, it's kind of more fun to write, where they like, kind of mess up and they have to double back and think about what they wanna talk about, or they aren't just instantly perfect and they don't just sweep you off your feet because it gives you more drama to play with than just, "Oh, I'm already Captain Perfect except for this, like, one dark thing you have to overcome." Instead, there's sort of more
Mm,
of a melding and coming together.
right. So, would you say that your main character for your men, your adorkable heroes, would you say they're more closer to reality?
Um, I mean, that's always one of those hard things to say. I try to always have my characters, like, inject them, I guess, with reality. So, and it's
Mhm.
not that there aren't like domineering men out there. There aren't, there aren't men that are like that, obviously, but there are also a lot of the like sweeter, weirder ones. And it's sort of just a balance of trying to find how do I build you up? Like, where do I want to get you from? Do you have this kind of background? Do you have this kind of like past trauma you're overcoming? Like, is there someone that walked out on you? Do you have like issues around relationships or uh, have you just, kind of always been passed over? Like, I have one character where, in my Happily Ever Austin series, which is kind of a contemporary retelling of Austen books, I did Sense and Sensibility, but I gender swapped it. So it was
Mhm.
the guy that was like a super romantic lovelorn, and I specifically made him short. He's like, you don't really get a lot of short,
Oh, yeah.
you don't get
They're all
short
tall.
kings.
Yes. They're
Yeah,
all
and
tall and broad and gorgeous. Yes, yes, I get you. And, that's kinda like what I like to read, but
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, I get it. And it was one of those where it's like in that series, I kind of like to do different. Like in
Right.
the first
I
one, which
get
is
it.
a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, the Darcy stand-in who I named Hardy was
Mhm.
he's older and he was kind of starting to bald and is like he was kind of a teenage music heartthrob when he was younger, but that sort of made him hard and like he just cut off from people. And then in the Madeline's Park, which was Mansfield's Park, retelling the main hero Everett, he's actually suffered from relationship abuse. Like the last two relationships he's in, he was the one abused, and he's struggled coming to terms with that, being this like super masculine man, but he
Mhm.
can't really admit to what he's been through until he can move on and find love and that
Right.
kind of thing.
Gotcha. So, with heroes on our mind, tell us your hero power of genetics.
It's not.
Wait a minute. Yeah, there we go.
Yay!
Now we'll give you a little giggle. There you go. So, anyways, as we were saying.
um, well, my background's in animal science, genetics kind of stuff. So I would do work on like dairy cattle and sussing out the yield. Um, it's kind of also tied in with cell lines. So I did a lot of like cell culture where you would take, say, I think we were working on lipids, so fat cells from dairy cattle, and then you would grow them in a cell line, which is a pain in the butt. I would like to add,
Mhm.
because like most of the cells people work on are immortal cell lines, so they're like cancer cell lines. But
Mhm.
taken right from the animal means that you get like 7 splits, give or take, and then they're dead. So it was
Oh,
just
wow.
a ton of fun, challenging work, but I did a lot of work on RNA, which I feel like people are more aware of now after COVID.
Okay. Now,
RNA
yeah,
is,
I was gonna ask.
yeah, okay. DNA is highly stable. It's your basically genetic library. RNA
Mhm.
is kind of like an ebook you check out that will disintegrate in an hour or so.
Oh,
Like
wow.
RNA does not last very long, so it's a pain in the butt to work with.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can only really have it out for a couple hours, and then it's degraded and gone because of the way it's.
And this is very similar to DNA?
RNA, basically how it works is you've got your DNA and then it
Mhm.
unzips and
Okay.
you'll have the messenger RNA come in and read it and it forms almost the exact same base pairs because you've got GCAT. And when the RNA comes in, it changes that T for a U. And what that does is it basically kind of makes it more malleable. So then it can read the codons and
Mhm.
make whatever like protein it needs. So whatever it's reading. And then because of that U, it's not as stable. What's interesting is it's thought that like RNA was the basis, like we began as just like little strips of RNA that then kind of became DNA. Just kind of
Mhm.
interesting since RNA again is not stable. It doesn't last very long, but
No, I'm actually fascinated. I'm actually fascinated. To be honest, I do think that that is a superhero. I mean, come on. I mean, scientists. I mean, what book? You know what I'm saying? When you talk about superheroes, what don't they usually start out with from a scientist, right? Because you go right
yeah.
in like, yeah. And I believe that that's how you met your husband as well, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm an animal scientist and he's a food scientist, so
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, hey, every animal needs food. So you have 26 titles to your name. Tell me about the kind of drive it takes to write 26 books.
Oh. I think it's I have an insatiable muse that just needs to be fed. Like, I have the issue of basically fractal ideas where I will work on one book and then I have like 5 ideas, but you can only write one of
Mm,
them and then that becomes
yeah.
another 5 ideas and I just need to keep trying to feed it.
Right. But still, if you think about it, um, I'd have to actually think about the exact date that I wrote my first book. And this is me estimating because I would actually have
Mhm.
to go look.
Yeah,
I think
I
it was
don't
around,
remember.
yeah. Well, I think it was
Oh,
around 2010,
mhm.
2009, something like that. And I've written 12, and I have 5 unfinished pieces of work.
Yeah.
Not nothing real recent. Well, I have a few of them that have been recent, but so I'm just like wondering, um, 26 books. And when I was looking at your work, if I go back to one of the earlier ones that I can see,
Mhm.
and you mentioned it I earlier with your Pride and Prejudice take, which was
Yep,
Pride and Pancakes, I think,
yep.
from 2019. Okay, all right.
Yep.
And that's from the Happily Ever Austen series. Now, is 2019 the first year that you started writing books?
No. Like,
No, okay.
I did a couple before that. I was in,
Okay.
like, Lucky Anthology, and I also self-published a couple in 2018, if I remember. Yeah. And I'd written
Okay.
before then as well.
Okay. So in 2018, I mean, that's not that long ago. We're only in 2023.
Yeah.
So 26 books. So tell me about that. I mean, are you still doing your genetics or is writing now your full time?
Yeah, writing is full-time now.
Full time?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about the drive. Tell me what I mean, let's talk the time frame. I guess we'll break it down. I'll make it a little
Okay.
bit easier
Yeah.
to grasp onto. Let's talk about your time frame. So you start your book. Are
Mhm.
novels, novellas? Which are they?
Mostly not, yeah, novels. Any more like
Okay.
freaking I'm getting up to about 100,000 words with books lately,
Okay. Well,
but
okay. Yeah. Landslide novel. Okay. Got ya.
yeah, that's yeah,
Because,
it's
yeah,
been
because
annoying me.
40,000 is my limit. I love novella. So, and I
I
already told you
can't. I
I
have
have 5
so
on my
much
desk, so my drive is not as high. That's why I'm
I
curious, like so
I just
okay,
have so
okay.
much plot. I have so much plot in my head. Like I'm one of those people where if you want a romance with a lot of plot and action, then yeah, you're gonna love my books because I just like to tell convoluted, kind of twisted stories where
Mhm.
things don't always go the way you expect, or just there's lots of surprises in a way. And yeah, it's been ballooning out where I'm like, no, stop. There's too many subplots.
Mm.
Why are you want attention? And oh,
Okay, so let's go back to the little bit on the time frame. Okay,
okay.
so 1,000-word books, alright, and so we know they just pour out of you. Okay, gotcha. Lucky you, because like I said, I mean, for me, like I said, I still have 5 on my desk, and it's
Yeah.
finding time to get it all, you know what I mean, time to get down
Yeah.
and sit down and do it.
Yeah, I get
So
that.
not not the time to actually take in and give you the review. So that is something, and you must take that away as being a great accomplishment. Am I right?
I do have a wonderful art team, and it's like they're so great, and they help a ton. And I've done a few, you know, I did used to
Right,
use Book Sprout. I don't really anymore, but I run a
right.
few, arcs to get reviews, and I've had my newsletter for 3 years now, I
3
think.
years, okay,
And
alright.
that is one thing I'm like, if you're an author, get a newsletter. Like, holy cow, you have to do it. Because social
Right,
media can change on a dime. You could just lose everything. You have no control, but with a newsletter, you have control. You can,
right.
and it helps you connect. Like, I love to just do random little questions. What do you think of this idea? Would you rather I write this book or that book? Is this just crazy? Who's your favorite character? Just to kind of get their ideas and thoughts, and it's sort of more fun that way.
Um, right, I can see that, and what do you think of the feedback is? I mean, do you get a lot of feedback when you do the newsletters?
I do sometimes. I feel like it depends on what questions I ask. Like,
Right,
if you
right,
ask someone to name your book, they're gonna be like, "Nah, that's too much work," because naming books is just the worst.
right. Do you
But
find that it's helpful to be in a lot more of the groups? I mean, with 26 books to your name, looking at your review base, do you have a lot of people? Because I know people do street teams, they do authors upon authors helping each other with their work, you know what I mean, sharing the books in
yeah.
their stream. So do you find any of that helpful in what you're doing?
I actually I run a couple things to help out authors. Like, I have a one little small group on Facebook. It's mostly with my publisher and people there, but I open it up to others to, like,
Mhm.
when you have a new release, I'll send out an email blast with like promo images and stuff, and then they can all share it on social media. And I
Okay.
also set up like giveaways. Um,
Mhm.
4 giveaways throughout the year, and 3 of them are kind of fun because 'cause they're like countdowns. It started with, like, an advent calendar, so each day it was, like, a
Ah.
different author and a different book. So, it was
Oh,
like, well,
okay.
you guys get, like, your own giveaway, you get this whole day to yourself, and it's kind of a, all water rises all boats sort of situation, and
Right.
I feel like that's really helped kinda grow because we all sorta help each other, but
Right.
some of the other Facebook groups, I don't know, it sort of feels like a waste of time, especially as, like,
Oh, yeah.
the algorithm keeps changing.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Especially for
I
reader ones.
now I understand the definition of algorithm, but I don't know if I'm the best. My assistant who is all great in so many things. I mean, she's
Mhm.
like always constantly trying to tell me different things, and I'm like, "Can you do it?"
Yeah.
I don't know if I really am getting this, and because she's like, she probably just rolls her eyes like, "Yes, you can do it, and I will whip you. You do it." But she's great. I mean, her count on her accounts are awesome. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm very lucky to have her. I just wanna brag her out right now because there are so many people fighting to have my PA, and I'm like, "Ha ha, got her first." So, let's I wanna back it up just a minute. Now my timer's gonna go off, so I am going to try to stop it because it is really loud. Let's see. Okay, we got it at 11 seconds left.
Okay.
Because when it goes off, it'll blow your ears. Now, when you signed up with this, you had a book called Fang Screen, okay?
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about the book and the series I believe that it's involved in?
Okay, the series itself was just a case of me wanting to basically do paranormal romances around kind of more off holidays, like St.
Mhm.
Patrick's Day, fall solstice. I did Krampusnacht, 'cause I have a Krampus book.
Oh, cool.
And then Fang Screen is just sort of the summer solstice because it's hard to come up with a good summer holiday. But basically, this one started as I was talking with one of my editors about, like, she was going to have to go do a bunch of summer books to edit, and she was dreading it because she hated summer. So I thought, what creature would like absolutely despise summer? A vampire, because it's always sunny and hot, and everybody's necks are slathered in sunscreen. So that led to
Mm.
the idea of dropping this like old school European, kind of vampire on like a tropical island.
Oh, jeez.
And he just hates it. He just despises being there. Like Jareth is just like the grumpy puppy kind of, character that's just seems to hate everything in life. And then he sees this like golden god guy just hanging out on his beach and he's like lost. He is so shocked and falls so deep into it and all of his plans to go back to his dark drafty castle are just gone.
Mm. Wow. I love vampire books, so I'm really into that kind of stuff. I really am. I love supernatural things, and I love
Mhm.
the series Supernatural, just putting that out there. I'm a big Dean fan.
Ah,
Just going with
Dean
it.
and
If you
Kaz.
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the Angel and stuff is okay, but Dean is my man, you know what I'm
Ah.
saying? It was Dean all the way, you
Mhm.
know? I coulda kept watching as long even when they were walking with walkers, I'm just putting that out there.
There might be a
Um,
reboot, or they might, like, come back to it in, like,
well,
a few years.
I want it, I would be there, I'd be there, I would, with bells on, I love that, I love it. There's not a episode that I could say, "Oh my god, that sucked," I would not say
Mhm.
that, it's like, no, no. But I'm a
Eh
real Sookie Stackhouse fan too, I would've watched that to eternity as well, so there you go.
There's so much fun you
So
can have with paranormal because you can do anything, you know?
yes,
Like, you're
yes,
you're free to just do whatever like, I just finished writing a dryad romance
mhm,
where I basically dropped, my human main female character into this world of tree spirits, and
mhm.
it was kind of a lot of fun because I had to do, like, a ton of research on trees and then work, like, their biology and all that stuff into it and just invent new fun things that the trees do, and it's, like,
Oh, wow.
freeing.
Well, there's endless bounds to how you can create,
Mhm.
um, fictional in general, but sci-fi and paranormal to me because there's so many possibilities of creation,
Yeah.
you know? You can create your own world, you can create your own species. It's just endless,
Yeah.
endless bound. I wanna thank you so much tonight for being on, Ellen.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been
Oh,
tons of fun.
it was a joy. Thank you for being on. As I've been doing here lately, we're gonna talk just a little bit about an Amazon ad. I always like to find something different. And if you are a tea drinker, I love tea. Actually, I've got a cup of it right here with me if you can hear it jingling. This is loose leaf tea sampler. There's 10 varieties, 50 servings, 3.5 ounces, 100 GM tea variety packs, black, green, oolong, cha, white, brew as hot, iced, or kombucha. I've done the kombucha. I'm not a real big fan of that style, but I get this tea. This is 35% off. It's used to be $21.99 and now it is $14.39. As always, guys, the link will be in the bio. Thank you so much for listening, all of my listeners. As always, until next time, bye bye for now.